Pakistani authorities have cracked down on those keeping lions as pets in the Punjab region after one escaped from a house and attacked a woman and two children. The children were hospitalized with non-life-threatening injuries and the woman suffered scratches in the attack. Now authorities have responded, raiding dozens of lion and tiger breeding farms and seizing at least 18 big cats. Senior Director of WWF Pakistan, Rab Nawaz, joins me now. Rab, good to have you with us. Firstly, can you explain to us, is private ownership of lions legal in Pakistan?
So it is. Thanks for having us. So it depends where you are because the law is actually decentralized. It's province-wise. So in many provinces, yes, the keeping a big cat, be it a lion or a tiger, is legal with an appropriate license. But as we've seen, there are loopholes or there are people who don't follow that rules. And I think this incident does really kind of bear witness that we do need to be stricter with people keeping these potentially very dangerous animals in not only in farmhouses but also the cities.
Of course, I've also been reading that owning a species of big cats, whether it's lions or pumas, it's a sort of status symbol in Pakistan. Why is that?
Good question. I think it's because if you see in the wild, they do exclude power, and they're a keystone species, they're a predator species. So that's why people like to keep them. And of course, there's a history, alliance history in Pakistan, and also political parties have historically used these animals as their emblems. So the ruling parties have the tiger or the lion. So people use these. The army use them as their mascots. So there is a history. But it doesn't mean that you should keep hundreds of lions or tigers in a built-up area.
Yeah, so how do people, get a hold of these big cats? Where are they being captured from or bred?
Well, most of them are bred in Pakistan. So there are large breeding facilities. They're not hard to breed. If you have a pair of lions, they'll give quite a good amount of offspring. They would have been imported many years ago legally, and then kept in people's farmhouses and bred and then sold. And you can go online, you can find lions, you can find tigers quite easily. It's not a hard thing to do.
And do you know if these big cats, are they trafficked out of Pakistan to other countries?
I would say no, because I think they're not hard to get hold of. There's always that possibility, and of course. I think that there is a legal wildlife trade built into the system. So that's where, again, where you have these loopholes where you can say, well, this is a farm bred or a tiger bred in that captivity. Unless you can prove it, that actually opens potential opportunities to then fuel the illegal wildlife trade. So I think our stance is that unless it's for scientific purpose or to develop a stud line and a breeding line, this should be done through the proper authorities, and I think there should be. And we've been pushing this for the last many years, a complete ban on keeping big cats. It was in public domain. It's just this. I mean, we were lucky here. The kids got away. It could have been much worse. And of course, it's not good for people, and it's not good for the cats. There was an incident quite recently where a lion got out and had to be shot by a security guard. So I think it's time now to become a bit more stricter. I don't think people should be keeping these animals in the house. Again,
yes, Rab, you called for a ban. The WWF wants a ban. But what's been the response from governments, current and in the past, to ban them? Is there a political will for this?
Well, it's a bit hard if your political emblem is a tiger.
Yes.
That's a bit hard to justify, but I do think that the departments have realized that they have to do that because, again, it could be promoting illegal wildlife trade. So yes, I think the governments, and we have seen that. We've seen the provincial governments becoming introducing the laws, so the licensing system was a good first step. I think next step now is to really put a ban and only allow facilities and institutes to keep these animals for science, not for just for the sake of keeping these big cats.
Yes, and so there is a current crackdown. We've seen, several lions being seized from private owners. But do you think, perhaps, is this tokenistic, or do you think that this might actually be sustained by the authorities? In other words, do you believe that this is a genuine crackdown?
I think this incident has given all of us a chance to now to ask the government to take it more seriously. I have this gut feeling it will be tokenistic, but again, I think let's use this opportunity. Let's try to truly change the laws and ban this once for all. And then I do think the departments are serious in actually trying to control this.
Yes. And what do you know, Rab, about the welfare of lions that are kept by private owners? Do they know how? Do they have the capacity to care for them?
Terrible. They're kept in terrible conditions. We saw one recently being rescued in Islamabad. It was just used for breeding. It was on the verge of death. Fortunately, the wildlife department um, took it. They've rehabilitated it. He's in his last days. He's very old, but at least he has a dignified life, whatever it remains. So no, again, the awareness, and it's a business. If you're breeding animals, you're breeding lions and tigers. You don't have a lot of interest. Again, that's very bad for animals. I think that needs to be stopped.
Yes, and Rob, there was this quite interesting case in January where a Pakistani YouTube star was ordered to create an animal welfare video as punishment for illegally owning a lion cub. Does that sort of creativity work in tackling this problem?
Well, as a conservationist, I would say no, but you see now how the young people get information. Influencers have perhaps more influence on youth and population than traditional ways of communicating. So it was a novel way of actually punishing him, and I think perhaps it did work. I think that's half the battle is to make the public understand that what goes on in the background, and the how the animals are kept. If the public's behind us or behind the departments of the government, I think it'll be very easy to stop, because people won't be buying those animals if they realize that the suffering they go through and the danger that they pose to the public at large.
Okay, Rab Nawaz, really appreciate you shedding more light on this story. Thank you so much.
Thank you.